to what Rajalakshmi is saying, I've realized from my clientele as well as social interaction is this. In the modern, urban, professional, success-driven society, the man is often directly or indirectly accused of maybe worse things, but if not that, maybe in looking after your career, you didn't look after your wife or family. I mean, so if the man in a separated or divorced couple happens to be reasonably successful or very successful, the immediate attribution in everybody's mind is that he achieved success at the cost of the family.
Yes, that's
now,
right.
it need not be so.
Right,
I mean, we have had any number of clients, and I have seen any number of social interactions where it wasn't so. It need not be so. The reasons might be something else.
That's right.
And if the couple doesn't want to talk about it externally, you want to maintain the privacy issues. Without doubt, almost as a 100% rule, the attribution is that the man was too busy making his career, so he didn't pay attention to the family.
Well, in certain cases, that is also the truth. Yes?
True.
Yeah. At this point, let's bring in Rakesh from Delhi. So, Rakesh, if you're with me, welcome to the show. Rakesh, are you there?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Rakesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to put a question.
Yes,
that,
please.
It's always thought that the women are being harassed. But when a man is being harassed, can he file a case under the Domestic Violence Act? I mean to say that can he lodge the FIR under the Domestic Violence Act?
All right. Well, let's try and direct your question to Swaroop, who is a divorcee himself, but who has been dealing with a lot of cases like that. Swaroop.
See, if you see maximum countries has accepted domestic violence is not a gender issue. But unfortunately in our India, when a man face a domestic violence, there is no provision directly you can file a case. The basic things in domestic violence, this is like a civil cum criminal case. So where your assumption can be granted with the comparison. That is the reason, as I say, the process of the divorce is so difficult for Indian man. The moment you forget about filing a divorce, the moment you feel or dream that I will go for a divorce, you will be by default, will be at least 6 to 7 cases will be filed against you.
Right.
Maybe you are facing domestic. We have the evidences, the videos, all these things we are having. In spite of that, the wife is beating the husband with the video. Still, on a verbal statement of the from wife's side, a case had been registered against the husband. And even I have seen one sting operation was done by a TV channel.
Yes, yes.
They are showing the man had been beaten by the wife, and you will be surprised. A case of domestic violence was registered against the man with the reference of that sting operation.
Somehow, if a case like that comes up, it just becomes a butt of joke, and nobody really takes it seriously. So I think that just goes to show that how sick we can be as a society.
That's true. That's true. Maybe this is the right time to peg what I think all of us will agree. I don't think there is any denying the historical reality that women have been in marriage and outside that in every possible social manner exploited and given the worst deal. While that historical truth does remain, I think the issue is that truth should not be carried so far as to become a truism. So that fact, if we can get across to the audience and realize that there are instances of a certain proportion where actually the shoe is on the other foot. What is nice, I think, is that in link with what you're saying, I remember reading about some Supreme Court and High Court rulings where there have actually been rulings against paying alimony to the lady, who was asking for alimony because she was earning, or maybe both were earning similarly after separation and divorce. So to me it seems that, as this program itself is an indicator, but to me it seems that distorted reality of gender imbalance and everything attributed against men is beginning to change. There is beginning to be that realization of getting the correct balance and say, let's be gender neutral, let us examine where the difficulty lies.
Well, let's find out whether we actually are gender neutral or not, because right now I have with me Mr. Ajay Veer Singh Jain, who is a lawyer with the Supreme Court. So, Mr. Jain, welcome to the show, please.
Hello.
Yes, if you can hear me, I would like to ask you, as Dr. Nimesh Desai has just said, that things have begun to change now. But I would like to ask you as a lawyer, when you deal with cases, do you see that a lot of times the Domestic Violence Act is also misused by certain women?
Well, in some cases, yes.
Okay. Now, if I ask you at random, can you just give me a number? How? I mean, just on a scale of 10, what would that be?
Well, I do not know on a general level how much it is, but
Right.
the number of cases that I am dealing with, what happens is the violence is there. It may
Yes.
not be physical. So what they do is they, when they present it before the court, they dramatize it.
True.
So violence is of a different nature, but in order to make it more convincing to the court, because here the court is not that sensitive that they understand the violence of that nature.
Right.
So when it goes before the court, it gets translated into a lawyer's language, and it looks harsher.
Right.
But now my answer to that question on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, not more than 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to ask you here, Mr. Jain, is this that do you think that it is very difficult that men find it rather difficult to actually prove themselves?
Men try to prove themselves.
It is difficult for them to prove themselves in the court, especially that it is the man basically who is suffering and not the woman.
Well, yes,
Because as
it
we
is very
see-
difficult for them to prove
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because why I'm asking is that we have realized that it is all the sympathy actually goes to the woman rather than to the man if ever there is a divorce case.
Can you repeat that question?
What I'm saying is that mostly it is the women who take in all the sympathy that comes across from every channel whatsoever, and it is the man who everybody thinks that is the main culprit, and that is why the marriage is resulting in a divorce.
This could be a myth, because
Uh-huh.
it depends on a case-to-case basis, and I have seen judges
Yes.
sympathizing with the husbands also.
Okay.
It depends on what is the situation of the husband.
Right. So do you think this trend is changing even in the society at large, and they are trying to understand now the case individually from both the points
yes,
of view?
Yes, on a case-to-case basis. Yes.
Okay.
It is ultimately the economic determination of the situation of both the parties.
Right.
I'll cite here something very electrifying which I heard about Poolan Devi's interview. What happened? Somebody asked Poolan Devi
Yes.
in an interview, आप अगले जन्म में आदमी बनना पसंद करेंगी या औरत? तो उसने कहा मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, लेकिन मुझे गरीब मत बनाना.
That's
Now
right.
that was something that explains which something many hundreds of cases cannot explain. Books
That's
cannot explain.
That's
So it is not that either it is a sex, whether it's a man or a woman. It is also the economic determinism of the case.
That's right. Now, for somebody who is watching the show today, Mr. Jain, what would you like to tell if there is a man today and who is actually being beaten up or abused by the wife? What would you advise him? What is the stand of action legally that you think that he should take? What is the first thing that he should do?
See, when you go to the court, the first thing you need is evidence.
Right.
This man has to use his brains and should collect evidence. Because no woman has got the license to beat her husband. That is against the law.
That's right.
So the presumption which is favored women, that women cannot assault the man, is actually something even the judges understand. Judges are after all human beings. I mean, they're also men, and they also live in families, so they know the ground realities.
Right.
So, but in order to accept certain things, they need some evidence also.
That's right. Now, thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for joining us here on Gender Discourse and giving us all the input that you just did. Well, coming from a